I'm Jennifer.
I'm standing in the lobby of a federal building, surrounded by chaos. A man in a sheriff's uniform, Sheriff Thompson, is screaming in rage, his face purple with anger. 3 Glock 17s are pointed at his chest, and he's holding a taser, his hand shaking. I can see the desperation in his eyes, and I know he's cornered. Just a few minutes ago, I was on the verge of making a call that would change my life forever. I was about to talk to my real parents, who were on a private jet, landing in just 20 minutes. I was finally going to go home, after a lifetime of believing I was nothing more than an unwanted burden. But then, the door exploded inward, and Sheriff Thompson and his deputies stormed in. He slapped a warrant on the desk, accusing me of grand larceny, and ordered his deputies to cuff me. I was in shock, screaming that it was a lie, but he didn't care. He was determined to take me away, and I knew he wasn't planning to just book me at the jail. As the deputies dragged me down the hallway, I was flooded with memories of my life with Sheriff Thompson. I remembered the way he had treated me like trash, making me sleep in the laundry room while his daughter, Lily, had the master suite. I remembered the way he had made me feel like a mistake, like I didn't deserve to be loved. But then, something inside me snapped. I realized that I wasn't the victim anymore. I was a witness, and I was going to expose Sheriff Thompson for the liar and the criminal that he was. I dug my heels into the floor and went limp, catching the deputies off guard. I looked Sheriff Thompson in the eye and told him to check the timestamp on the warrant. Sterling, the federal agent, heard me and rushed to my aid. He demanded to see the warrant and quickly realized that it was fake. He pointed out that I had been in federal custody since 7:45 a.m. And therefore couldn't have stolen the jewelry at 8 a.m. The deputies holding me loose in their grip, and I knew that I had finally found my chance to fight back. Sheriff Thompson tried to argue, saying it was a typo, but Sterling wasn't buying it. He knew that Sheriff Thompson had lied on a sworn affidavit, and that was perjury. He also knew that trying to drag a federal witness out of a federal building on falsified charges was kidnapping. Sheriff Thompson realized that he was in trouble, and he pulled out his taser, threatening to use it on Sterling. But the guards reacted quickly, and within seconds, 3 Glock 17s were pointed at his chest. He had no choice but to drop the weapon and raise his hands. He then tried to play the statute of limitations card, saying that the kidnapping had happened in 1991 and that the statute had expired in 2011. But Sterling was one step ahead of him. He pulled out a thick file and explained the constructive trust doctrine. He told Sheriff Thompson that he didn't own the property he had obtained through fraud, but rather held it for the victim, me. Sheriff Thompson was shocked. He realized that he was going to lose everything: his house, his accounts, and his freedom. He tried to argue, saying that he was the sheriff, but Sterling wasn't swayed. He knew that Sheriff Thompson had laundered money and filed false taxes, and those crimes didn't have a statute of limitations. The guards moved in, and Sheriff Thompson was cuffed and taken away. I watched as he was led out of the building, and I felt a sense of relief wash over me. I was finally free from his tyranny. Sterling slid a paper toward me, an asset transfer authorization. I signed it without hesitation. "Sell it," I said. "Just make sure he never goes back." As I stood there, I thought about how my life had changed in such a short amount of time. Just a few hours ago, I was a girl with an eviction notice, struggling to make ends meet. Now, I was Jennifer, the long-lost daughter of a wealthy family. I remembered the first time I walked into this federal building. I was holding $12 and an eviction notice, hoping to get a passport stamp so I could take a janitor job. But instead, I was met with a silent alarm and the news that my social security number belonged to a child who had died in 1991. A man in a sharp black suit, Mr. Sterling, had stepped out of the elevator and looked at me with recognition. He had said, "Welcome back, Jennifer." Those 3 words had shattered my world. He had led me into an office and told me the truth. My real name was Jennifer Anderson, and my family had made their fortune in California tech. I had been kidnapped from a park in 1991, and my stepfather, Sheriff Thompson, had been hiding me all these years. I had spent the last 15 years believing I was a burden, scrubbing floors and waiting tables, dodging eviction notices. But now I knew the truth. I was a stolen treasure, and I was finally going home. Just then, sunlight flooded the lobby as two figures rushed in. I didn't need proof. I felt it in my bones. "Jennifer," the woman whispered. "I'm here." They held me like they'd never let go, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly loved.